I just came back from Singapore and unfortunately I'm very sick, but one of the many things that I took away is that they love their spices in Asia, from nasi lemak to laksa, and even some spicy snacks like mala mala. But let's be honest, the spiciest snack in the entire world has to go to Burnice White. Cue the montage. Hello fellow pyromaniacs and welcome to Burnice's Holistic Guide. What weapons can Burnice use? Is she free to play? What are her best teammates and how short is that skirt? We're going to be answering 3 out of those 4 questions today, and you won't know which one of them I'm answering until the end of this video. So you better like and comment to be entered into our Burnice poll session giveaway. That's right folks, for the weekend of Burnice's release, we're going to be raffling off a poll session for her, so make sure to jump by our Twitch for more information. And just as a reminder, the information from this video comes from the creative beta server and is subject to change upon release. Now let's begin with her kit breakdown. Burnice's kit is actually super easy, and it all revolves around her tanks of fuel at the top left, reaching 50% of said bar to reach nitro fueled cocktail state, which will be shortened to the nitro state. Upon flaming on, whenever she applies the damage via her basics, EX specials, chains, or ult, she will apply the scorched effect that will allow her to apply a persisting dot or damage over time, doing gnarly fire damage yet also accumulating fire anomaly buildup even when she's off field. Then let's go straight to her special skill, the intense heat aging method without the EX bar filled, and the stirring method when it is filled. So from stirring method, she can activate double shot, 2 times the firepower when having enough energy or when she activates mixed flame blend during the nitro state. This is her charge attack, and it's extremely useful and quick to go straight from that into her double shot. Actually, that's her main combo line. Talking about the charge attack, let's move into her basic skill. We just mentioned that she had a charge attack, but she also has a flurry of a 5-hit normal attack combo. When you use a charge attack within the nitro state, you'll activate her mixed flame blend ballerina twirl, and with the powers of the Maho Shoujo, she'll do a 3,330 degree spin to create a whole fiery tornado, which after you'll be prompted to use your special skill, which will allow you to ignore the skill's requirement for double shot and use her enhanced EX special skill. Then let's talk about her afterburn effect, the scorched effect. When using your EX special, you'll be leaving a burn mark on the enemies, and this will indicate that you have applied the scorched. This effect will deal upwards of 350% of Burnice's attack every 1.5 seconds when other squad members hit the target. Afterburn also helps to accumulate fire anomaly buildup, which is integral because, as we know with anomaly buildup, it's all damage contributing to a single buildup that produces the final damage calculation. Not just a single character that procs the attribute anomaly, but more on that later. Oh, and one thing that is super duper important, the afterburn is considered an assist attack damage. Keep that in the back of your head for later. We also have to include the skills of dodge, assist, and chain. Now, dodge is very underwhelming and is just a basic standard dodge, not giving her any extra enhancements or abilities. However, with the assist, once you assist with Burnice, you're actually able to assist follow up with her EX special double shot. So another way to get into the double shot flame state. It's really good for multi-anomaly comps. Then the chain and ultimate. The ultimate for Burnice is amazing and can top out at 3,800+% damage, which is not the only fun part. Once you get Burnice into the air, you're actually able to swap cancel into another character while still maintaining the attack animation, meaning she'll be throwing hot fire onto your opponents whilst you continue your attack onslaught, allowing you to further rev back up your attack rotations. Those extra 2 to 3 seconds over time can really add up, so it's amazing little tech that is added to her kit. And for the chain, it's a standard semi-ultimate that if you end on Burnice, you're actually able to use her EX special double shot as well. And not to gloss over the core passive, this is where the scorch and afterburn effects are explained. TLDR, you just want to have 300+ AP to grant your afterburn an additional 30% damage increase. For her additional ability, pair Burnice with another anomaly character or character within the same faction. The afterburn gets increased fire anomaly buildup, and if burn were to be triggered from your other teammates, the duration of the dot is increased by 3 seconds. There are a few more points about specific investment thresholds, anomaly proficiencies, attack, as well as incorporating that additional ability, but why don't we talk about that within the next segment. Now here's where Burnice gets a bit spicy, as she does not only function with one specific 4 and 2 set for her drives, nor does she only have her signature to rely on. And for weapon explanations, I'm going to be eating some of this hot sauce. Hello, anomaly class. is so diverse, which makes building for Burnice flexible, but let's start to break down our best options. When it comes to her W Engines, Burnice signature Culty Flamemaker Shaker is a beast of a weapon and directly plays into her ability to deal damage on field. Yet, setting her up off field with the passive fuel on the rocks, Burnice gets energy regen increase, meaning longer damage durations for double shot. She also gets increased damage over time, 3.5% for 10 stacks when hitting opponents with your X special or assist attack. Oh, I need a tissue. So yes, your afterburn will contribute to the stacks of this ability. So when you come back out, you'll most likely have at least a few stacks already built up. And if you have above 5 stacks, you also gain an additional 50 AP, lasting for 6 seconds. So the idea is to start building up Anomaly with Burnice first, and getting Afterburn on your opponents, then swapping to your setup as you continue to deal fire damage. Then once you're set up, swap back to Burnice, double shot, and burn the ever-living crisp out of anything that's in front of you. Oh god. And one very underrated thing I didn't mention was that the weapon has a sizable base attack, yet also includes attack percent as its substat, allowing you to offset the heavy attack investment into your drives such that you can focus on AP. At this point, if you have also pulled any of the other weapon banners, you might have ended up with a few copies of the A tier engines of Weeping Gemini, or have been able to craft the Rainforest Gourmet. Or you may have been smart enough and used your Battle Pass tickets to grab copies of Electro Lip Gloss. Whichever road you went down, I'm also here to say that your investments are going to be well received with Burnice, as she is able to utilize all 3 A tier options quite effectively. Oh god! And could play to certain strengths for Burnice. Here are some damage comparison charts to when we have Burnice, and if you can get refinement 5s of one of those weapons, you're actually not far off in terms of damage from the signature, although Burnice's best in slot is still quite imposing, as you can't go wrong with the Fusion Compiler, which at R0 is still competitive. This also means that whatever you choose to invest into, you're going to see great results. Phew. I finally got a glass of water, and now onto Drive Disc, where Burnice doesn't start to become a picky either. Her best in slots is the Chaos Jazz, which is a 4-set that will grant her increased fire damage, and the damage that corresponds to EX Special and Assist attacks will also increase by additional 20%. This definitely trumps the 4-set Freedom Blues at this point in time. However, if you do manage to run the Anomaly set, you won't be angry, as the damage is also comparable, just offset with the burn damage itself. But again, it's not afterburn, so be careful with that distinction. However, it is well to note that a majority of Burnice's damage actually still comes from her EX Special and then the Anomaly, so feeding into her main damage funnel, which would be the Chaos Jazz, is preferred. Then what of the 2-set? Well, if you're running Signature and are still getting heavy attack investments through Substat, you may just want to get the Freedom Blues 2-set for the extra Anomaly proficiency. Or if you're running a W Engine option without energy regen bonuses, go for Swing Jazz. Or if you're super heavy into AP already, why not go for the Infernal Metal or Hormone Punk for an extra attack kick. Just remember folks, all you need at baseline for Burnice is 300 AP for a core passive. This will allow you to get a maximum 30% damage bonus for Afterburn. So anything else can either be invested into attack or even penetration. No crits are required for this firecracker. Hello, it's even more sick Josh from the future, and I neglect my health to come to bring you this interesting piece of news. I've discovered that Anomaly Mastery in the 6th slot, as per my initial thought process, was actually incorrect. Upon 2 hours of actual testing and theory crafting, I've come to the conclusion that attack in the 6th slot is actually better. 15 to 20% better, actually. And I've tested both builds on bosses. The attack on 6 gave me an average of 10 to 30 second better clears because of the front-loaded damage onto the E skill and Afterburn. And for those of you who are high investors, you can actually take this one step further because Afterburn and her E skill can actually crit. Yeah, that's right. If you can actually run Hyper K Burnice with attack on 6 and crit on 4, then you can run her signature and Seth, granting her the missing 100 anomaly that you would have gotten from drive 4, and then you'll be on your merry way. Again, that's for super high investors, and that information, back to the regular guide. Before we move on, just know that the infographics you see here can also be found on our Twitter and community Discord. We're closing in on 2.5k members, which for size is amazing. So make sure to hop on in if you want extra resources and join our community offline. We'll see you there. And now moving on to field training with her combat applications. Let's first break down her main combo line that I mentioned way back at the beginning of the video, the charge attack into double shot. Now before we actually perform this, I want to instill with you guys one overlaying idea. Maintenance of your special bar, because if you start to overuse this combo, you'll end up with nothing in the tank and the double shot actually doing barely any damage. So let's now begin with your charge attack into EX special, and you'll notice that you initially don't have much in the tank for the double shot. My suggestion, as I mentioned before, is to start with auto attacks. Start building up your anomaly meter and to help grab some extra energy points for your skill. To gain the fastest time to burn, note that at this elite enemy who's neutral to fire, you get around 25% of anomaly buildup during single shot and just around 30 to 33% on a double shot, when you're just barely hitting the EX special threshold. This means that you'll at least be wanting a whole 2 auto attack rotations before you move into a charge attack, which will consume a bit of your nitro fuel into a double shot. However, what I found is that using a small amount of nitro fuel first to use a single shot, do another round of autos to get a charge to double shot is much more effective than just trying to always attempt to hit double shots. In fact, a great combo line to use when you hit EX status is the first single shot, because you'll be wanting to inflict an EX attack first before you charge so that you have some of your buffs saved from your weapon active before you move into your charge to double shot. Then it's more or less about learning how she fits within the ecosystem of your trio that you bring. Do you have Seth and Caesar to grant AP and attack buffs, or do you have Lucy for that? Might you also have a disorder team and that you'll need to balance time around your secondary anomaly who might just need more on-field time? Well then don't worry about that, because all your focus then is mainly to maintain the scorch status for Afterburn. Burnice is an offensive character that doesn't lose 100% of her impact the minute she leaves the field, unlike some other characters. So once you have the muscle memory of making sure that you inflict the scorch onto your opponents, you'll be able to safely switch to your next character knowing you can attack with them to trigger the afterburn. However, know that the afterburn will consume 8 points of heat from Burnice, forcing her to build it back up. However, if you were to grab the Mindscape 1, this pushes her flexibility and power to another stratosphere. We'll mention investments in a second, but for now, let's talk teams. Of course, you can't leave out the obvious Burnice hyper carry with Seth and Caesar as your support mates. The two directly feed her with the best buffs and defenses in the game. You literally won't have to worry about a thing and can freely abuse the shields to maintain offensive pressure. Then comes the other option of Lucy at the attack buffing helm. She is also amazing and still provides the attack buff even when Burnice is off field, which is imperative because she doesn't technically snapshot and will utilize the current attack buffs when the afterburn is active. So technically, if you're running a Burnice as a sub DPS or secondary DPS option to an Ellen Jo, Jane Doe, Juyen, or any other frontlining DPS character, you'd rather have Lucy than Caesar because she can give you those extra few thousand points of damage per tick, which can definitely add up. But then again, this is just for afterburn damage. The debuff with Caesar and potential weapon buffs that she can bring to the table with her signature more than make up for that. And to wrap up the conversation, because Burnice has such solid off-field potential where other offensive options just don't, you can slot her in as a secondary DPS character or double anomaly to form the Disorder team, which she can proc very easily, to be honest. She should not be called the Queen of Burn, but the Queen of Disorder, because how easily she and her teammates can pop them. Lastly, let's get to investments. Should you go for a weapon, mindscapes, both? Well, let's start off with the signature. It is an amazing option, but if you can snag an R5 of the A tiers, you can still do considerable, meaningful damage. You'll just have to make sure that you're playing around their passive conditions. Then, mindscapes. The N1, as mentioned during the combat section, is busted, giving you access to 140 heat versus the initial 100, which means you can pile on more damage, and the sub DPS role of Burnice can be fully realized without compromise of having to bring her back into the nitro field cocktail state when she switches back out. She also gains 25% fire anomaly buildup with afterburn, which can actually secure a burn attribute anomaly for Burnice completely off field. Yes, you heard me right. This is absolutely busted and makes the viability of disorder teams that much more deadly for Burnice. And with the additional 100% bonus to afterburn of Burnice's attack, the Mindscape 1 is by far the better investment if you are going for either or. The Mindscape 2 basically negates the need for Arena in a Burnice Grace Disorder team, as it provides a sizable amount of pen for the team. M3 and 5 are skill ups, which, because Burnice uses her EX special and assist skills in scaling of her damage, it's incredibly worth. Her M4 is a crit up with her EX special, and the max duration of spray for the double shot increases by 1 second, probably the least valuable out of the mindscapes. Lastly, the M6, for those who are bold enough to wail, is official like buff from Genshin Impact, giving an additional 60% damage for afterburn that does not consume heat. The damage of the burn also ignores 25% fire resistance, and for one instance, every 20 seconds, you'll deal an additional fire blast when performing the double shot worth 1,800% of the original damage. Atomic amounts of firepower. To sum it up, get M1 first, then weapon. If you're a dolphin, go up to M3. Then, if you're already set on M6, well, then there really isn't anything stopping you there. And that's it for the Burnice build and play guide. Make sure that you like the video now so that I know you found it valuable, and save this video so you can reference later. Again, I do create a bunch of resources for building and farming characters in my Discord and Twitter as well. Make sure to like and comment if you're picking up the Flame Princess, or if you have any other burning questions. See what I did there? Thanks for watching, enjoy Burnice, and I'm going to be hitting hay because I'm still sick, but please click on this next video because YouTube thinks you'll like it.